All right. This video is going to be quite a move my chair. Quite a personal video about the concept of money. How do you quantify it? How do you grow it? And how I see money going forward as a energy unit, okay? So I've written some notes in my trusty red book here. I just want to go over how I see things, how I see the world, and how I see myself generating money whilst also living a good life, whilst also being happy and not regretting your 20s. Okay? So this is very applicable to those younger guys out there that are probably more in line with my age. That being said, it would probably serve everyone's age in honesty. Now, I have a few little things I wrote on this book that I just want to read out to myself. The level of risk you take in life is how much you value yourself. Okay? So let that cook. The two highest asymmetric things you can do are thinking and writing. Life is a story of energy density. Do things you've never done before to get results you've never seen before. These are timeless principles which I think really change the landscape of your life if you really truly embody them and actually live out what you are preaching, per se. Same goes with faith, same goes with religion, same goes with anything in life. There's a big difference between the talker and the doer. Okay? Let me just check the Bitcoin market right now because I was in a sizable trade. All right, cool. So, regarding money is essentially energy, okay? Energy is the currency of life. So, the more energy dense a thing is, the more power it has. So one would say a gun, one would say specific chemicals, one would say an electrical appliance or anything that is energy dense, a person who's energy dense, they're fueled up with nutrition. They have the electrolytes, they have everything. They have density to themselves. They're not drained. Think about an old person and think about a young person. A young person is energy dense. An old person is energy extracted. Okay? So you need to make a system which contains energy and grabs it and utilizes that energy to grow and compound, because you can do that through timing, through allocation, through so many different mechanisms and tools, which we'll get into today. So, I know this sounds quite weird and interesting. I would find it very interesting, but I believe that this way of thinking about money can change the perspective to then do different things that get you different results. What do I mean by this? Most people leave their money in a traditional bank account on their phone. Okay? If you do that, it's very hard to compound and grow that wealth other than just increasing your income, but no true wealth generation mechanism that you're going to be using. Don't get me wrong, active income is great, but wealth generation is a different concept, which I'll get into in these different manners. Let's flip this back for the memes. My hair is absolutely chopped right now. Anyway, so the more power, so the more energy something has, the more dense, so the more power it has. How does this apply to life, one may ask? As we know, the world is run by systems. These systems govern how we end up economically, relationally, and overall determine our life trajectory. So what do I mean by this? The system you're in, as in the country you're in, the institution you're connected to, the currency you hold, the people you're around, the environments you see yourself in and are in, dictate where you start and where you end. So if you haven't thought about it properly, and I like to say there's three biggest things, and Naval put this very well. He said, what you do for work, who you're with, like even in marriage and also working wise. And I think there's one more. But regardless of the fact, basically what he was relaying was the fact that those are the most important decisions that you will make in your life. So you should spend some more time thinking about them. Now, the whole entire landscape of things has changed with the fact that AI is here. It does democratize intelligence. It changes the landscape of things, which is why I've created an alternative way of doing things, which I think can also give you lifestyle, which I think is very important in terms of energy density as a human. Because you could say making money makes you very energy dense, but when you make a lot of money in certain mechanisms, per se, being a doctor, not necessarily, but like certain industries can really drain you as a person and take out many years of life, which is energy. Okay. There's ways to make money and do things without losing your energy and losing your vitality, because ultimately that's what is keeps you happy and alive, is having that. If you lose that, you become miserable even when you have a lot of money. So the whole entire motive here is trying to get that energy into yourself. That's done through spirituality, that's done through physical exercise, that's done through grounding mechanisms, that's done through all sorts of things, people, relationships, everything. If you're losing and lacking in a lot of those departments, you'll find that your energy will drop. Motivation, discipline, consistency, all this sort of stuff. I say this because I've been through many iterations and cycles of this process of finding myself in that. So, how to use the principle of energy. Life can be broken into three main categories, okay? These categories are money, which is stored future energy. So money is basically stored future energy. So you can use energy in the future when you have money. So let's say I have $2,000 right now. In a year from now, I can use that to move things from one place to another via hiring a truck or something. So I'm using this energy, money, to then transfer that into the real world to then use some more energy to move things. So it's an energy transfer and it's stored future energy. So that's essentially all that money is, and that's how I perceive it. I don't think about dollars or fiat currency. I don't care about that. I just view money as stored future energy. The same can be said for an asset, Bitcoin, a house. It's potential stored future energy that, depending on how liquid the asset is, because you need a transferable medium, which is going to be cash and a fiat currency or whatever rail you use, right? But for the most part, money is basically stored future energy that you can use at any given moment on the continuum of time. So understand that gives you a very good perspective on how things work, because it incentivizes you to not just leave your money dead and stagnant and not working for you. Because the moment you do that, you essentially give up and you are basically just saying, hey, inflation, come and eat my money away. Now, relationships. Relationships are feedback loops and they're second order effects. So they can either strengthen you or they can decay you or they can keep you neutral. And it's very important, depending on the life you want to build, that you surround yourself with some very good people. Because the Bible says iron sharpens iron. And if iron sharpens iron, it also means the inverse can take place. So rust can also infect things. That can be toxic people. That can be people who are wasting time on activities or things that just don't add any value to society or the individual as a person, okay? Does that mean having fun every now and then is bad or whatever? Like, no, it doesn't. It just means the continual curve of the person. Are they growing or are they choosing to devolve and actively bring down people around them? That's how I would see it. I wouldn't see it in the perspective of like tracking everything they do, but more so the fact that, do they lift you up or do they bring you down? And so I think it's fairly obvious, and it doesn't need a entire monologue being spoken about such a thing. The next thing I would say is the lifestyle, which is the main compounding flywheel. So the reason I say this with importance is because I think a lot of people who try to get rich, they don't really figure out lifestyle perspective. They sort of just front load getting rich really quickly and putting themselves through all this pain and then missing out on relationships and then lifestyle, which drain your energy. So I think, like everything in life, it's a yin and yang balance. There is things you need to do and things you need to not do to live a balanced life that fills you with energy. Because if you don't do that, the system, which is you, will most likely crash and burn, which is why we have burnout, which is why we have people who have insane career switches and become spiritual monks after 10 years of being a corporate slave, okay? So that's why I think it's very important to pull the levers for each different thing. So money, pull certain levers, relationships, pull certain levers, and lifestyle. So you can create a three-way system which vitalizes you. Obviously, there'll be some days which drain you down, but I think it's very important to navigate this system so you have longevity, you have vitality, and you can live your life in the way that you want to live it. And for me, that's in line with God, but also having fun and growing and observing new things and doing new things, okay? Otherwise, you just have no energy and you'll be in a continuum of stagnation. So, I specifically want to start this one with money. I've written down a fair few notes. Once they end, I might freestyle this whole thing. But I'll show you also some interesting little drawings I've drawn here too. Forgive me because I've been doing a bunch of content today, so I'm a bit tired, but we push on no matter what. So let's start with money. Money is just a stored unit of energy that is exchangeable in the economic system. In essence, it facilitates movement of things. Money facilitates the movement of things. Everything in life is just a movement of things. Think about it for a second, like logically. Everything you do in life is just moving things in this observable reality, which then shifts money into your bank account via doing something, whether it's pressing a button on this, whether it is talking with the mouth and making a movement, whether it's moving your hands. Everything you do in this observable reality basically is movement of things. Okay, so movement of things is what vitalizes you too. Me moving my hand, opening this, and drinking is an action taken. Now, an action creates consequences. So action and consequences is how you have to see things. So me talking to a stranger can get a consequence. An example would be yesterday on the train to work, I made a conservative effort to go out and chat with random people. So I spoke to this Japanese fella and that affected a medic flywheel that then met me. Then another guy started talking to me because he heard me talking to him. And then I exchanged contact with the Japanese guy. And now we're going out on Saturday to go to the beach and have some fun with a random stranger I've never met before. Whether that eventuates into anything, that's not the point. It's still an experience. It's still something to do. It's just showing you the effects of actions and then consequences after that, because I don't think people really truly see it and do it enough. Now, I think it's just so important to realize where you are and where you want to be is literally just determined on the movement of things. So figure out the movement of things. You could view the movement of things as like a password you have to enter to unlock your dream life. Now, whatever your dream life looks like, it could be sailing out in the Bahamas. There's a sequence of actions you need to do to get there, whether it's monetary, whether it's relational, whether it's taking some phone calls, whatever it is, there's a sequence of things you need to do to get there. The reason I'm wearing this shirt is because I did a sequence of things which led me to Dubai, which led me to then join a crypto team, which makes me do content for them. And I'm now wearing this shirt, which I grabbed from their little shelving in Dubai. Okay? And that was a movement of things. And I can understand the processes of which I did that to get there. These aren't things people teach you about, and they sound very simple, but if you don't do them, it's like, do you really know what it is? So it's really just applied logic and how I see things. Movement of things is everything in life. It's just a movement of things that achieve a specific outcome in this 3D observable reality. I hope that's very clear. For example, there's a sequence of actions I could do on this phone that would teleport me to a different country, or could make me meet my future spouse, or could do anything really. Could change my entire day tomorrow through this device. Whether that happens or not, you're still putting it out there. The potential is here regardless. And that's just from pressing a few buttons, okay? So you could view that as extreme leverage. By pressing a few buttons, you can get extreme outcomes. And it's quite fascinating and amazing to think about. Me even making YouTube content is a one-to-many relationship, which enables me to document and see things from a different perspective. Okay? Now, what I want to get to, I have to continually check the Bitcoin chart because I'm in a trade. 1 second. What I want to get to is the simple fact that since we know money is stored economic value that facilitates the movement of things, we can start to paint a clear picture on how to gain it and use it, and most importantly, compound it with speed. Let's dive into the life cycle of money. Money is a technical store value, but by but there are much better allocations of value than fiat currency, which is weak due to supply issuance and devaluation. So, what do I mean by this specifically? Let me explain this. So, when you get a job or whatever employment you take under, you're going to be getting paid in fiat currency. Fiat currency is what the government decides to issue you as a person. So when you get that fiat currency, you can then decide what you do with it. Do you allocate it into a different asset class, or do you use it to utilize in some manner? Right now, I'll get into my strategy and what I'm doing and how I'm compounding my wealth, but it's important to understand what underlying source of value you're holding. Okay? So, assets such as Bitcoin, gold, silver, and real estate are examples of fixed supply assets. Now, the only two truly fixed supply assets really are just Bitcoin and real estate. Gold and silver can be mined, which creates a supply addition, which is devaluing on the price. Deflationary, you could say. Bitcoin is a fixed supply asset. You can't make any more Bitcoin. Real estate, yes, there's a lot of land in the world, but like wanted land, as in near the city, you can't change it. That's it. Like near New York, that's it. That's the only real estate that's there. Where I am right now in Brisbane, this is the only real estate that's here. You can't change it. It's an immutable item. Now, what does all this mean? Simply put, it means for me that I'm saving my value in sats, which is satoshis, which is Bitcoin, and a mixed allocation of gold and silver. In this modern economy, it's the only way to grow and compound value right now. Until we have something new, a new economic system or regime, there is no other way that you can consistently compound your wealth and grow it. Now, I save in sats, but I also trade, which I'll get into that in a second. This is just the base layer to wealth generation. This is not an income generation tool, but rather a value buffer to assist in energy preservation. Let's move to the topic of income generation. Income is the process of accumulating new energy units. So when you go to work which expends your energy, okay? You go to work and you have energy, and you expend that energy by doing a set of movements, whether that's cooking, whether it's chatting like this, whether it's moving things or pressing things on a keyboard. It's usually a sequence of one of those things, no matter what it is. It can also be brown nosing. It can be bureaucratic activities, whatever it is. It's still a sequence of things which interacts with the 3D realm. So, what I want to say here. Income is the process of accumulating new energy units, which is exactly what I just said to Sen. Now, that is different to capital appreciation and capital appreciation and income generation are similar in the same sense that both provide more energy units, but one also sucks physical energy units and movement or thinking. Okay, so that's income generation through traditional means. Capital appreciation requires you to press buy once, whether it's a settlement on a house or buying an asset, and not think about it for the next 10 years. Okay, you just literally don't need to think about it, which can very much set you up in the future. This process is largely different to buying a house in the 1970s and holding it for 50 years and seeing it 3x. One would say that burns time units, which is true. So the key here is to figure out what is the exact feedback loop that feeds itself and it energizes itself. Let's move on to the income flywheel generation tool. Because if you, like that being said, if you do wait a bunch of time for an asset to increase, you're burning time units, which is also a unit of energy. No matter what happens, you're going to have to burn energy units to get where you want to get. But it's about doing it in the right way that can compound and give you that vitality so you can make better decisions and do more things with your life, because time is so limited. Okay? Ultimately, I'm here to serve God, but there's also dreams I have in this world which I want to achieve and all these sort of things. There's a family I want to have, all that sort of stuff, right? So, I think income can be broken into into stages, depending on how much you have and at what stage of life you are at. But I believe the principles are timeless. First step I would do if is find a job or career that gives you energy and makes you feel alive, not drained. The two most important features for this are environment and people. So I've written down here, you can see environment and people. If the environment you're around is a positive environment and the people are very positive, that gives you energy. If it's the inverse, where you're around depressing people who think suicidal, who are aging and very old and don't like their lives and are miserable, basically the formula is very simple. Bad environment, bad people, no no. Good environment, good people, yes. Very rarely will you have the two like opposites, as in good environment, bad people, and bad good people and bad environment. Normally not the case. Um, I would say the most likely one would be good people, bad environment. So one would say fast food chains, you can definitely have a stagnated environment where there's good people. But good environments usually find good people normally. It's hard for a negative person to be in a good environment. So your job is to find where that feedback loop is. These systems can provide you with energy and you start winning. Like you literally just start winning if you can do this. So jobs that I think do fit this, the criteria is low stress, stimulating. They increase surface area for new conversations and new things happening. There's a simple ladder for you to climb. And this is a post AI take on the world. And what I believe with the ideal job, it's not about generating the most amount of money. It's about finding something you can enjoy and you can stay consistent and you can last in it. And it gives you a stable way to keep living and also compound your wealth. Um, I'm saying this as someone who's not a trust fund kid, but I still live in my parents' house. Okay, so that's the context which is there. But at the same time, I've had to sacrifice a lot of experiences and all that sort of stuff. Potentially, it depends how you view things. But I am choosing to stay here on the basis that I want to compound faster so I can be where I want to be in life in the next 10 years or so. Okay. That doesn't mean I'm not having fun throughout those 10 years. All right. So things that can feed this feedback loop, I would say, are things in aviation, things in luxury sales where the environment's positive, and really anything. Go on ChatGPT or anything and write down positive environments and positive people and what that workplace would typically look like and identify them and start applying and start calling and start getting your butt in gear and fit yourself in that feedback loop. And don't look back. Don't go to a negative place where people don't like you and there's all this sort of crap happening. So anything like things like that are really draining, that require a really heavy investment, like being a doctor, unless you're called for it in your heart, I wouldn't recommend doing it because I just think it takes away so much compounding time, which you could be generating wealth. It just depends on what you want to do in life. Ultimately, if that's something you feel called for, then go for it. But I'm sort of like I said, the stars video. This is a very personal video to me and how I want to build and design my life. Okay, and at the end of the day, everyone's their own person that they can do what they want. So instead, focus on capital compounding. So let me just write this. You don't want something like doctor, as that ruins all the risk taking in your youth for extremely long-term payoff. Instead, focus on a capital compounding engine right now. By doing so, you kickstart the flywheel, and this also accounts for lifestyle and tax laws depending on where you live. So, depending on where you live, there's certain tax structures which enables you to. I mean, if you earn less, you get taxed less, but if you earn a lot, well, then say goodbye to 40% of your income. So there's like the law of diminishing returns where the workload for what you get is probably not worth it. So it's important to identify where that is and design your life very intentionally. Here are all the jobs that fit the criteria best, which I specifically highlight, which is aviation. Honestly, flight attendants, international routes, private jet cabin crew, airline customer service roles, premium roles, first class service, all that sort of stuff is very nice. Even luxury sales is good. High quality sales, not toxic environments, because toxic environments can really bring you down. So you can go find those. Do your own searching, luxury retail sales, corporate partnerships, recruitment consultants, all that sort of stuff. Client-facing finance, there is aspects of client-facing finance which can be okay. Relationship, managerial stuff, client service, and wealth firms, okay? Now, that is just the day job, which is not meant to be a significant part of your life, which it will be, obviously, but it's meant to be a flywheel that can give you energy and not drain you. and gives you opportunity to chat with people and talk and do things. Again, this is specifically tailored for me because I really enjoy having conversations with people. I enjoy being social. I really hate isolation and I just enjoy doing new things and growing my brain. So for me, it works best. So my ideal stack for myself includes something in aviation or sales and content creation plus trading. Now, I will show you the flywheel I'm specifically using and how I'm using it right now and how I've generated sizable amounts of money for my age, which is 22, which I know will grow to a very large sum in the future, as long as I don't blow it up with leverage, right? I'm saying this also as a single male right now too, with no extra income from a partner, right? So I just want to keep that clear. So in essence, find a day job that provides energy and lifestyle, and a compounding system, and own a compounding system that you own. This is the side business, the side hustle. I hate that word, but it's something that you own, which you can pour all your energy into. Because when you pour all your energy into something that you own, number one, the incentive structure is there for you. Number two, you know that it's going to directly benefit you, so you have more drive and motivation. And then really, the payoff is over going to you. So I mean, why would you not want to do that? Obviously, you got to be smart in what you do. Since money is energy, the ideal system is to own something directly tied to money flow. Design said system at your own risk. I say that as a precursor to the fact that it also helps to have a lot of knowledge in markets, a lot of knowledge in assets, or whatever it is. You could be doing music, you could be doing fitness. Whatever it is that brings you energy that you think you can monetize, go for it. Ultimately, you don't want to be monetizing everything because it just takes out the joy in life. But when you're young, you have to try and work hard. Now let's get into this. For large entities, this is funds, this is trusts, and this is capital systems like farms and income generating assets and businesses. Capital systems are systems which generate income and asset appreciation through a mechanism that's designed and very simple. So a farm is a very simple mechanism. There is land, there is crops grown, and there is an asset, which is the real estate. There's also assets, which is equipment, which then farms said seeds and plants and generates profit and income. And that's how you generate wealth through a system which you design. Now, I have a different system which I'll go into. For someone starting smaller, with smaller capital size, etc., aka an individual person, it's not an option to start something big. You just simply can't. So you must build something that provides capital plus social capital. I say this because it's important and it's also what got me to Dubai. It's also what's giving me income right now. Since you don't have a flywheel that creates an attraction mechanism, which is, for example, someone like a big fund like BlackRock or whatever, which is it's a fulfillment, it's a flywheel that feeds itself because it's so big. Think about a planet that's very large. It's so big that it attracts more objects to it because it's got a gravitational pull. So use the principles of space and time to apply to your business. I see the best model as a brand in the markets tied to a person that does two things. Creates a social network plus capital raising. Partnerships, agencies, and sponsors. Right now I'm with the Moon Agency, and I'm also partnered with certain exchanges, which gives me monthly income, as well as doing my day job, as well as holding Bitcoin, okay, as well as living life. Faster compounding loop. Others would include global sales. So, like I said, sales and in the higher term sales. There is SaaS you can get into, but I would say the key metric is anything scalable that offers a product or service. I just see the markets model as the strongest model that's currently existing in the world because it's directly tied to money flow, and money flow is essentially the movement of money, which is the movement of energy. And if you can tap into that, I think that just gives you so much more power to grow and compound and meet really good people who are also growing and compounding. And it gives you so much world knowledge and insight that it's just insane. Couple things, couple this with trading plus holding and the day job into a scarce compoundable asset. This really fast tracks wealth generation, which can be viewed as energy generation. The more wealth, the more energy. There are other categories that matter a lot, but wealth adds a lot to mental clarity and safety. agree to disagree. So this is the feedback loop which I've designed. So basically, your day job goes into trading, which goes into your media business, which then goes into saving in Bitcoin and holding that long term. Okay. So that flywheel right there will guarantee you, I believe, that you will do well in life. I mean, if World War III happens, by the way, you can shuffle that middle one with a different asset. Let's say that asset's real estate. Let's say it's gold or silver. But you got to understand these assets have broader cycles within them, like macro cycles tied to global liquidity. So it's very important to track these. And then within that, you can tinker with the levers that are specifically here. So with the trading, you can tinker with finding an edge, which would be looking at. And I believe edge can also come in virtues like patience, opposed to a specific tool. That being said, you couple patience with the tool, I think you can have a really good edge. Media, which affiliate sponsors and better camera equipment, all sort of stuff. This system has a very little leakage and provides a person with freedom and sovereignty in a system designed to enslave you. The rule goes, work extremely hard on things you own and have direct upside to, and do not work and do what needs to be done for other work that is salary based. So things that you don't have ownership in, just do what needs to be done. Don't burn all your energy, try and enjoy the day. And then when you get free time, work on your business and get the flywheel going. Because in salary jobs, the more work you do, the more you get added onto your plate and the more demands that take place and the more all sorts of garbage that takes place, right? So it's pointless. Types of income. So can you see this? So right here, we've got salary, which is a progression layer. We've then got business, which also offers you a one-to-many relationship. We've then got capital growth, which is uncapped but tricky and needs an edge to grow. So the three-step funnel I've used is salary, business, and capital growth, which gives you the exponential curve, but it just takes time to get there. So the difference is the time that it takes to get there, okay? So yeah, three-step system to dominate finances and win in this domain. Other tricks include slight tweaks in the system, such as leverage increasing, paid ads, affiliates, outreach, all these sorts of things. Do these with caution. These are advanced tools for the best of the best in this type of business model. This is my specific business model. You could use any different business model. Other tools include game theory, incentives, and flywheel attention schemes you can create to generate attention, which to monetize that. The goal is to calcify yourself as an asset. Ultimately, you want to become the asset, which is the governance individual of taste, of authority, of capital, and a gatekeeper to something people want, which is most likely going to be money and taste. So money and taste are the two things. By taste, let's say taste, for example, in markets would be knowing when to take the trade, okay, and how much to put on. That's a taste. It's a concoction that only a person who is very experienced would know. And by doing so, you calcify yourself as an asset because you gatekeep certain knowledge. Can AI do that knowledge? Maybe, but I don't think it's going to get to the level where, with how dynamic things are. But it might, because in theory, if AI does, then the market would have perfect price equilibrium and it should just move like this. It shouldn't even have up or down. It should just move in a very linear fashion. Okay, so that's all I've wrote here today. There is a lot more to talk about, and we'll quickly get into the relationships and lifestyle. So relationships, I would say you need to identify the people you need to be around. You also need to identify the type of partner you want to be around because that's important. It will literally ruin or make or break your life. And you need to figure out the lifestyle that you find that brings you energy. Okay, if you can do all those things, I truly believe you'll be very, very happy and very fulfilled. And then you can really spend a lot of time overfilling other people's cups in terms of their spiritual cups, all these sorts of things. And you can not feel drained every day and have energy. It's so important because energy is the governance tool of this entire world. So I think Nikola Tesla says it really well. If you understand energy, frequencies, and vibration, you'll understand the world, the secrets of the universe. Okay. Anyway, peace out, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. It was a very long one, but I think it was a very insightful video, which I'm going to watch in the future. And I hope my life turns out well. But for now, catch you guys next time and see you later, Isaac. Bye-bye. The date is 24th of the 3rd, 2026. I'm 22 years old. And I'm going to be doing a lot of things. Like I said in the start of this video, which is do things you've never done before to get results you've never seen before. All right. Peace out. Bye-bye.